Hello everyone, I'm e.01 and today we're gonna continue reading World and Economica. So, in previous episode, they finally start working together with things, Haru and Hagana. Um, and, well, pretty much full previous episode was about trading and stuff. But besides that, Hagana actually, I guess, figure out some math or something what she can do, and they actually find a programmer to implement this. And as kind of was expected, programmer was a guy from a cafe from the start of the novel. Mm, okay, there's no much to remembering stuff, and because like there is, as I said, there was mostly trading, and I'm already kinda don't really remember a lot of stuff about trading. Mm, so yeah, I guess we gonna just continue. I believe it next day after we go to yeah uh Cyril, uh, they go to programmer, and now it's next day. So let's continue to read. The next day there was some movement with the suspicious stock I bought into. The trigger seemed to be that someone went and bought a big order. Right after, right after, trading in the stock seemed to freeze for a moment. It was like seeing the exact moment the tides turned. The stock that had been hanging around 270 moons rocked skywards. I immediately placed what were called market orders. Not orders specifying the price like buy 1000 shares at 270 moons, but rather to buy at whatever the going price was at market. I placed the order using up even the entire 5 million moons I had promised Kagana. Mm. The market sellers were piled up over 30 times the daily volume and seemed about to explode at any moment. That was what a horde of sharp-eyed traders like me flooded in on. At the beginning, there were a number of large sales orders putting up resistance, and the scent of blood from the chance of a short squeeze drew an even bigger crowd. There was a rush of orders, and a lag between the situation on the stock on the screen and the real situation started showing up. For moments, the movement would stop, and then the price would suddenly jump 4 to 5 moves. They weren't able to keep up server side. In the real world markets, if this happened, it would be a it would be a one-sided climb afterwards. The guys who sold short and lost would have to buy to cut their losses. And that case, other short sellers to close their balances. In a mere 10 minutes, it was up to 290 moves. The daily movement limit for this stock was 354 moves. It had started out at 270 moves on the dot, so it was plus 30% of that. Depending on the country, price movement limits might not exist, and within an exchange, the level that the limits were set varied among stocks. The price on the screen kept climbing and climbing, and in moments 300 was inside. At 300 there was a glut of sell orders waiting. One thing you learn from trading is what even though there's no rational reason for it, there's always huge orders waiting at round multiplies of 10 or hundreds or 100. Mm, sorry. To be honest, I completely don't understand pretty much everything what we read now. I mean, I get it was these suspicious things what he buying in first day when they only started. Yes, suspicious stock. I kinda surprised what is. I believe he placed order using all of his money. I mean, I guess he already trading for some time, so he probably know what he don't gonna lose everything, probably. But I don't know. For some reason, for me it seems kind of dangerous. But I also don't really understand anything about it. Anyway, let's see. It was a psychological turning point. If it broke through 300s, there'd be no bigger breakpoint to speak of. If the sellers were to put up resistance, this was it. There were 46,000 shares of buy orders versus 128,000 shares of sells. Sellers were bigger by 3 to 1, but I still didn't think it would stop. At that moment, I opened up an order to buy on margin. Here it is. This is the first time something spoke to me, telling me this was the moment. Maybe it was because I glanced at the wall of sell orders, but I took a short breath before resuming trading. There, I trust in 10 million moves, the limit for buying on margin. I couldn't make the excuse with Hagana that I hadn't promised not to use margin. Plus, if it prohibited, she wouldn't find out. Plus, if it's profit, she wouldn't find out. In any case, in that moment, my order of a bit under 40,000 shares was blazing a trail. After that, it was like a fountain spraying. That was the sweet wine of victory or a spray of blood depended on where you were standing. Holding back the urge to jump up from my chair and shout, I pull in a seller order the instant my order went through. The set price was 349 moves, 500 the price limit of 354 moves. I didn't put it at 354 moves because if it went there and there weren't enough buyers, the trade wouldn't close before the market did. In that case, there would be a chance that the downs in the last 10 minutes might kill me. I didn't put it at 350 moves because it was a round number. Right now, the stock was hitting new heights, so except for people who work out the short sales, everyone else was taking their profits. If everything was aiming to take their profits, then 350 moves, that nice round psychological point, would be the place where everyone would want to sell. That's why I put an order for just before that, 349 moves. Like an old anime spaceship throttle, the price of the stock on the screen rushed forward. There's no feeling like watching your position get larger with every breath. That feeling of sorry, I forget how to pronounce this word. 1 second. That feeling of omnipotence at having made the right decisions, that feeling of superiority at having beat out other people. And then, 27 minutes before the end of the morning session, the deal closed at 349 moves. Profit a bit over 3 and 6 million moves. That feeling of your head tingling and your hair standing on end. This was it. That feeling I had long forgotten. Hmm. Kinda sounds like gambling. Anyway, I was so happy I couldn't speak. So I took a deep breath. Looking at the rush of buy orders flooding in, when the stock hit the daily high limit, I laughed it tiredly. Not feeling bad about it, even if it hit the limit again was the ironclad path to victory. Sarcastically, I made sure I didn't forget to tell myself that. Just as I was looking at the screen, unable to contain my smile, Hagana came into the living room from the hall. Hmm? She had a suspicious look that said, "There's Wako here," but I didn't care. If she had come a bit closer, I might run over and hug her. I might get to the point where we'd definitely win before you start to catch up with you, Muff. I said to Hagana as she went to the bathroom. As she put her hand on the door knob, she turned around slightly. But you'll give Lisa 50,000 moves from the prize money, right? Hmm? Yeah. Then that worked too. Hagana said that and headed to the bathroom. I thought she'd be a bit more competitive and annoyed at my success, but she didn't seem that way at all. I was a bit disappointed and returned my eyes to the screen. Oh, did it go that well? Lisa appeared from the hallway leading to the church. She had a triangle of cloth on her head and a mask on, apparently for cleaning. I turned around and Lisa took her mask off to reveal a knowing smile. Shut up. Oof. Things went well, and you won prize. How honest of you. Lisa was really sharp-eyed. I held my head in front of the computer. Anyway, I wonder if I should cut things off here. What were you doing all morning? Hmm? Big house cleaning. It's that time of year. Nope. But this is about but this is about all I can do after all. What? When I asked her out of confusion, Lisa took the cloth from her head and took off her gloves. She then threw them behind her and came into the living room in relief. I can't be any direct help to either of you or Hagana. In that case, I can be of use keeping this place clean. Just being in a clean place can give power. I don't really get it, but I said as I turned back to screen. It's better than it being dirty. Right, and well, besides that, having delicious food and clean clothes. Oh, and Hal, you're always pulling your neck and shoulders. Should I give you a massage? Lisa wiggled her long, thin fingers as she spoke. For some reason, she was hunched over like a witch, trying to scare children. What was she up to? I don't need that. Oh, getting a massage from a young woman like me isn't something that happens every day, you know? You shouldn't be the one saying that. Oh ho ho. Lisa laughed theatrically and went to the sink. As I watched her back, I thought in my head if it were a lap pillow, and then I signed. Okay. And I again times Q. Finally, days in the snow kinda start to move pretty quick. I believe it already was few days in previous stream. It's already second day on this one. Anyway. The next day there wasn't anything particular of note. I was still profiting at a good pace, and in the end I managed to move the amount I could control to 10 million moles by the end of the week. So already week passed. Okay. Essentially I earned more than 5 million moles. By doubling in a week, if that kept happening, I'd be able to gather the entire wealth of humanity. But that definitely wasn't going to continue. Still, I had managed a pretty hefty return with 5 million moves. The volatility of market was big, so just by using that, the profits had been large. Mr. Trosh had slowed down in the last half of the week, and after a reversal, he had settled at 47.8 million moves. The distant second place with 31 million moves had already stopped trading. Interesting. I also actually wanted to comment it. It feels like he looking only for this guy, but I mean, if Haru want to win, isn't that should be another people like Haru who also can make more money than this guy? I mean, it was still taught for us what Haru pretty much was one of the last who start trading, who get invitation for this contest. Anyway, at this rate, getting second was definitely realistic. If I could get into second place, that 50,000 moves would go straight to Lisa, and I'd be headhunted by Schrodinger Street and leave this place. Giving something back to the place that took care of me before moving on to bigger things that didn't sound bad. Joke aside, it might be possible to get there without Hagana. I thought that, but it was obvious that if I started treating Hagana like dead weight, it caused trouble. Lisa probably wouldn't like that, and Hagana was holed up in her room doing whatever she does. Going back and forth with that after out, apparently she had already received the program. Interesting. Isn't it too fast? How much time it was? Said the next day wasn't particularly a lot. So, does this mean we still reading about next day, or if it a little more time skip? Not sure, because he talks over here about end of the week. Just they kinda only ask Siral to make program, and if he did it in one day, it's kinda, I guess, impressive. Anyway. And so Sunday, the day of rest for us warriors came. I was staring into space while eating breakfast, and while the laptop was at least on, I was so out of it that Lisa was slouching. Agana had finished eating her toast and was drinking her hot milk when she put her cup down and spoke. I was backtesting the program and... Huh? That was all I could say to those sudden words. And so, I don't know whatever I use it wrong, or if the program is wrong. The numbers are insane. They email it back and forth a lot and still can't figure it out. And so? I look at Hagana and she keeps staring at her cup. What's going on? When I hesitated, Lisa, who had been washing things behind Hagana, joke a little. Anyway. When I hesitated, Lisa, who had been washing things behind Hagana, tried to signal something to me over her shoulder. And then I finally understood. Ah, you want to go to the big bull cafe? Hagana looked up. Yes. Then say so. Hagana's lips formed a thin line. At least remember how to get there. As I said that and was pulling up the map on the laptop, Lisa glared at me from behind Hagana. At the same time, Hagana was in her own way, looking down at the table with no expression. There was something she wanted to say, but couldn't. Walking between Lisa and Hagana a few times, my dual tweets found their ways to the correct answer. Or do you want to go together? When I asked, Hagana jumped a little, then looked at me slowly. Please. Hagana said that one thing clearly. Lisa shook her head and went back to washing. When we went to the big bull cafe, Hagana seemed afraid of Gerald's head. But it could just be that she was afraid of Gerald himself. Even if she weren't afraid, she probably wasn't comfortable with unfamiliar people. Hagana was strong-willed, but only weak in places. I wouldn't be surprised if outside she was a timid little miss. The sooner the better. I want to be in time for Monday. Alright. I gulped down my last ham and eggs and shut down the computer. Is that guy even awake at this time? No one had an answer to my muttering. Sunday mornings have a special air about them. On weekdays, the atmosphere of the city was very active, possibly due to the many people working. However, on days off, everything was somehow more relaxed and calm. There were also fewer people on the street, so the air felt refreshing. As always, along the way, I would look at the things on the street and wonder that companies they came from. Because of that, once in a while, I'd wind up being some distance from Hagana, but this time she didn't complain or glare at me. When I slowed down, she stopped and looked around aimlessly, as she waited for me, and then we'd walk off again. While doing this constantly, we came to the big bull cafe. When we entered, we found a large man who totally suited the name of the place, reading on the counter, reading an E magazine board. He glanced our way sharply. Welcome. Hagana completely froze and stood dead center of the automatic door. Ah, Mr. Alterald. Boss is in the back. Is in the far back, room number 2. Thanks. The Ox-like guy gave a gruff nod and went back to his magazine. So because it said room number 2, but on screen we see rooms called a little bit different. I mean, maybe it's like a staff room, then it makes sense. Anyway. I turned around to the still frozen Hagana and motioned to her to move to the back. However, she didn't even move when I started walking off, so I took Hagana's hand and pulled her along. The Ox was glancing between us and his magazine, but in that end I got the feeling he was smiling. You're not scared? As I walked through the narrow maze of halls, Hagana spoke. Huh? He seemed like a bad person. Bad? Well, he wasn't a banker. Hagana seemed to have trouble coming up with a response to that, but her expression was serious. Just train up your body. The most people won't seem that scary. Hal, you're trained. You didn't see me trash that I am a guy. Most adults around here I can easily beat. I see. Then Hagana nodded. I thought about saying something, but decided not to. I had a feeling that being afraid of big men wasn't just due to a simple difference in strength. but some odd reason. Even if she had even if she had to come here of all places, she wouldn't come by herself if she were able to. And so, I guess number 2 is here. At the far end of the place, there was 2 rooms. The number 1 and number 2 rooms cost 3 times as much as our booths. Oh, okay, this is explaining my confusion. Anyway, you awake? I knocked on the door. The place was quiet, so I couldn't shout. Despite knocking a few times, there was no answer, so I opened the door gently. There was some kind of movie playing silently on the computer screen. Did he have headphones on and couldn't hear? Immediately I shut the door. What happened? Hagan asked, looking at me. I replied somewhat hurriedly. Can you go over there for a bit? Why? Just do it. Hagan didn't look very happy, but she eventually went. Reluctantly, she went back down the hall about 3 steps. I motioned for her to go back a bit more. Hagan's brows furrowed, but she didn't go back another 2 steps. Okay, to be honest, I kinda know what there will be a scene. I don't completely remember, but I just see this uh, CG background when I do my thumbnails. Um, Let me check, just in case, because I don't remember if it's safe for Twitch. I'm pretty sure it is, but better safe than sorry. Or sorry for this. Okay, let me check. Unlocked game. Event image, I believe. Mhm. Um, mm, no, well, it's kind of say, well, not. Mm, I'm not sure how much Twitch react for things as well as YouTube. I mean, we can check it just to be, just to know. Uh, uh, okay, no, don't want to check. Um, so let's me find how to pam pam pam. I want something to it didn't show this part of the screen. Um, do I have something? Okay, can probably do something like this. Ah, okay. I believe it should be now. Okay, let's continue. Um, I nodded, opened the door, and went in. Oof, didn't expect it to be big. Anyway, whatever. I hope it's safe. Inside the booth, there was silent porn videos playing all over the screen. Hey, I pocketed Cyril's head and as he slept on the sofa. Tutsi woke up and looked at me sleepily. Hmm? Huh? Oh. He made a mumbled sound, and then he yawned wide. He was a tall guy, so and now he was lying on the sofa. His legs below the knee were sticking out. It would have been better to go home than to sleep in a place like this. When Siraut was yawning, I cut the power to the screens. I'd just seen a girl about his age in a inappropriate attire in front of a deep space background, doing inappropriate things. Don't doze off with all your porn on. Hmm? Oh, not to your test? That series has pretty lovely girls in it. I'll like it except for some space gear. Ain't it great? I'm not talking about that. Then what? Oh, you want something like like Little Miss Hagana? Well, it's not like it doesn't exist, but you're going to get arrested, huh? Okay, no comments. Um, hey, I'm seriously going to kill you. I got it. Don't get worked up. I grabbed Gerald's lapel and was squeezing, but Gerald was unfazed. Getting worked up looked stupid, so I let go. Gerald scratched his head and laughed crudely. And what did you want? Yes, Hagana wants something from you. Huh? She's here? Gerald was surprised and adjusted his clothing quickly. There was so much to fix. He was clutching his hair. She's waiting right outside. I opened the door and there was porn playing. Well, then tell me. She's going to think I'm some kind of creep. Like I care. She's here about how the program wasn't working right. Hmm? Oh, she said something about that in emails. I'm going to call her in. I guess we can now show entire screen. I mean, they say what how to turn it off. So I hope it's gonna be safe. Anyway, yeah, I'm good. Facing a small mirror on the wall, he was turning his face to the left and right and messing with the big muscle on his head. When I poked my head out of the room, a bored Hagan looked my way. She clearly seemed relieved, but her eyes were also a bit stern, and she seemed kind of sullen at being left out. It's okay? Yeah, the gentleman's the gentleman done with preparations. Hmm? I see. When I pulled back into the booth, Hagana stepped in, somewhat hesitantly. It was like she had never seen anything like it before, but it was so different from Lisa's church, it probably made her uneasy. Hey, Miss Hagana. Hagana just nodded at Gerald's greeting. Gerald spun the chair in front of the computer around and smiled, inviting her to sit down. Hagana hesitantly sat herself down on it. I heard you had issues with the program. Yes. If I'm setting the time period for the statistics calculations, an error comes up. For example, as if a switch had flipped in her head, Hagana took out her terminal and started explaining. I listened, but had no idea what was going on. It sounded like magic spells to me. There didn't seem to be any need for me, and it was cramped with 3 people, so I put my hand on the door and made to leave. Hagana stopped her explanation that instant. Huh? When I turned around, our eyes met. She had on this defenseless face that said, "You're going to leave." My head jumped and I froze, but I didn't want Cyril to notice, so I quietly slumped my shoulders, took my hand off the door reluctantly, and leaned lightly on the desk. Hagan watched worriedly, then assumed her explanation. It all happened in the space of a second. Cyril was throwing at Hagan's questions, so it didn't seem like he noticed. Hagan started conversing with Cyril again. While I watched them, I struggled to calm the beating of my heart. True, this cramped, massive place would be scary to be left alone in, even for a girl like Hagana. But what surprised me was Hagana's defenseless face. I was struck by this strong protective push, like I was strongly moved to defend her. Had never been really relied on by someone this much. While leaning against the table, I towered it. Didn't feel that bad. I see. And it's going to be... Trout was muttering as Hagana spoke. Huh? You look bored. Trout spoke suddenly while Hagana was speaking. If you want, you can play games there. And you can connect to a net here. You can use it to kill some time since this will take a while. It will? Yeah. Then he offered, I went around the table and looked at the stuff scattered there. At the same time, Sirao turned back to Hagana. I spoke seriously. Wow, Hagana, you really stimulate my intellectual curiosity. I'm not like this, but I like tough problems. Make it worth doing. I snickered just listening to that from the side. Really? Yeah, I was an engineering student, you know? I didn't think that I'd be able to talk math with a girl like you. I see. It was obviously flattering, but while Hagana was slightly hesitant and looked downward, she didn't look unhappy about it. No doubt, it was fun to have someone to talk with on her favorite subject. This had hard just from stocks, so she couldn't do it, and her students were her students, and not in the right position for that kind of chatter. So what would mean that Sirald was quite intelligent in his own right. But was that true? The only people who come to this shop are dirty rats like this guy. I left it if you came more. Hmm. Kinda a little sound like he flirting with her. Hmm. Which feels a little creepy, but I mean it's probably not the case. Anyway. Hey, what's with Georgia? Well, it's the truth. A bunch of complaints came in. There's a smell. Yes, house smelled. Uh, aha, see? Geralt liked it, and Hagan agreed. Damn. But if it's the truth, then no helping it. I gave up on retorting and fled to games. Firing up this display, I went to stick the memory card for the game into the machine, stuck my hand under the table. See, just in case, let me turn off it once again. That instant Cyril jumped up from the sofa, his mouth working silently. Hmm? Looking at him from under the desk, I wondered what the heck he was up to. Then, when Cyril's hand moved past Hagana and made the motion at the screen, I remembered that he had left Horn running. What's wrong? Hagana asked Cyril. Cyril looked at her. Hagana twisted and made to turn this way. Game over. That's the face that Cyril had on. At that moment, I forcibly yanked the cables near my hand. Bzz. With a whine, the computer itself shut down. By the time Hagana turned around, there shouldn't be anything on screen. Okay, I guess we're safe. What's going on? Hagana's eyes went from the screen back to us. Oh, I pulled the wrong plug. Ah, yeah, it's alright. Geralt played along. Ah, really? Phew. Yeah, don't worry about it. Hell, thanks God. Thanks God. While Geralt and I exchanged words, Hagana had tilted her head, exciting question marks the whole time. It ended up being afternoon by the time we left, and the big bull cafe. Sorry, it ended up being afternoon by the time we left the big bull cafe. Starting from Hagan and Cyril's talks, they made adjustments to the program right there, so it took extra time. And so, according to Cyril's bossing, he was about the only person who could work that quickly. Mm. I didn't know how true that was, but he certainly typed fast. At first I was wondering whether he was just slapping keys to show off in front of Hagana. But ultimately, the issues Hagana mentioned seemed fixed, and should put it in some numbers, look at the results, and not in satisfaction. It was just that by the time we left the Big Bull Cafe, the only thing on my mind was lunch. Hey, when I turned around and spoke, Hagana was putting her terminal with the freshly completed program carefully in her bag. You go on back alone. Why? I'm going to eat something around here. I won't be able to last until the church. While they were programming, Sirald had graciously offered to get some pizza, but Hagana turned him down. Apparently Lisa would have some food prepared at the church when we got back. However, if I keep pace with Hagana from here, it'd take 30 minutes. I couldn't say that I wouldn't starve along the way. You do know the way back, right? I asked as we went down the narrow stairs. At the landing between stairs, Hagana stopped and stood there. What? When I stopped and asked, Hagana lifted up her head and spoke. I'd do the same. After a moment's surprise, I spoke. There's food at the church stove, and I plan on eating that too, you know? Hagana never ate all that much. Hagana's eyes looked surprised at my words, but soon her expression tightened and she spoke with a glare. There's no food at the church. Strange, why? What? No, and the one with the questions. But it was because having food at the church was the reason she used to turn Seral's offer for pizza down. Lisa wasn't going to make something before she went off to her part-time job. She didn't. Interesting. My brain was having trouble working from hunger, so I couldn't see why. Did she want to eat along with me? I was half-jokingly thinking of that silly idea when it struck me. You're that afraid of Serald. When I said it while acting, she shrunk down visibly. That was it. Oh well. His head does have a powerful presence. Hagana was looking away unhappily after being found out, but she looked at me after I spoke, then nodded. I don't like men, she whispered. You know I'm a man too, right? When I asked, she looked down the stairs at me and spoke clearly. Aren't you a kid? I see. My face froze a bit at that, but when Hagana finished speaking, she gained her composure and quietly went down the stairs like she normally did. And when she came right in front of me, she spoke. So, where are we eating? Take me there now. I slapped my shoulders and was about to start walking. Being treated like a kid by a girl, shorter than myself, and getting pissed at it, I guess I was still a kid. While I'm mulling over that, I suddenly had an idea. Oh, right. What? Around this time on Sundays, Chris might be around. Chris? Hagana spoke wearily as she looked at me. Al, you have something you need from Chris. At this time on Sundays, Chris is around the tunnels, right? Well, that's true. Well, then why don't we get some rolls of bread and eat it there? The view good after all. I like it there. Hagana kept looking at me wearily. It must have been like a mother cat protecting a kitten. These were suddenly a bit clueless, so I could understand why. I see. After silently considering that my words meant, Hagana nodded. Then what's fine? Great. Then let's get supplies. Do you have money? When I asked, Hagana tightened her brows unhappily and looked at me. I've got some from Lisa. Don't get so angry. I'm not angry. Well, it's fine. If there isn't enough, I'll pay. Hagana was about to reply immediately with something, but I kept talking. Last time you were haggling for me, right? It was apparently her trying to thank me. A repaying thanks with gratitude was a bit strange, but considering what I heard in front of the clothing shop, I thought this was about the best way. Hagana's face said that she wanted to say something, but apparently she couldn't find the words. Looking away with her poker face on, she nodded. Ah. At my voice, her eyes turned back to me. Don't try to force the price down. Hagana looked sad for an instant, but gradually turned more annoyed. But she didn't kick my leg. Okay. Instead, surprisingly, she agreed with a nod. Hagana and I went to a nearby bakery and each bought some rolls and drinks. We then went back to the tunnel, to the 6th outer section. Obviously, it was wonderful weather again today, and gazing leisurely at the scenery while eating was nice. Kat suggested we eat with Chris because it was too embarrassing to eat just with Hagana. But Chris was nowhere to be found. Oh well, eventually she'll come. I couldn't wait to get to the church to eat, and I couldn't really tell Hagana to go home first. Settling my back on my back, I jumped at the tree like I normally did, kicking it with my foot and landing on top of the tunnel. I'm not sure if Hagana can also do it. Oh well, that's it. I sat down impatiently and prepared to dig into the sandwich wrapped in recycled paper. What stopped me was how Hagana was looking up angrily from the middle of the street. I can't get up. Come to think of it, Hagana had totally gotten used to the lunar gravity and thus had a big body. It was annoying, but I couldn't just ignore her. I jumped down from the tunnel, sandwich in hand, and took a big bite. Munch. Your things. Hagana came over and held out her bag of food. Her bag too. She hesitated but reluctantly gave it to me. I took these things in my other hand, and while I was at it, took another bite of my sandwich. Now, sit on my left arm. Eh? Come on. I kneeled down and took another bite of the sandwich in my right hand. I held my left arm out like a tree branch while holding her back. Hagana looked at my arm, twice truthfully, and finally, after realizing a minute, sat down on my arm. Getting close to her, I could tell she was a bit dusty, but her sweet scent tickled my nose. Grab onto my head or whatever, but don't strangle me. What? What are? Before she couldn't finish, I stood up. Hagana stopped talking and glanced at my head reflexively. And, of course I couldn't use the tree to jump up, so I took a longer route, headed to the cliff face and jumped from a tree root to a rock to another root and then to a branch. After that I finally landed on top of the tunnel exit. Okay. I guess moon gravitation is really a thing. Because it's a little hard to imagine this phoenix. Anyway. At every jump Hagana was making a teeny scream-like noise. She wasn't choking me because she was clumsily grabbing my head, hard enough to crush it. Her ring finger and middle finger were about to go up my nose. But thanks to her holding on so tightly, the area behind my left ear felt something soft. It looked like nothing was there, but apparently there was. Hey, how long do you plan on grabbing on? When I spoke, Hagana finally came to herself. The way she suddenly let go, she apparently had forgotten that she was sitting on my arm. Ah, what? She lost her balance and was about to fall backwards. Saying to myself, I held the sandwich from my right hand in my mouth and reached out to pull her back. You just got no sense of coordination, do you? I can't say I do. If your hair's still in disarray, Hagana spoke clearly. Here, you breath and back. Taking her things from my hand, Hagana fixed her hair with her hands. And then, when she looked up, she was suddenly taken in by the scenery. Okay, nice view. Now I don't know what to use for thumbnail. Like, kind of thinking about put mosaic in of porn Jumpscare and put it on thumbnail. But this also kinda cute scene. But a little bit hard to come out with title for this scene. I mean, not like all of my titles actually connected with thumbnail, which probably not really good, but kinda a little hard to figure it out. Anyway, amazing. Standing at the top of the tunnel, she murmured, apparently forgetting about her hair. Feeling a bit proud, I sat down and went to at the sandwich. This is the best view that I know. Plus there's no one around. We always eat here. Apparently she finally came back from admiring the view. She was looking down at me when she asked, "Nope, but once in a while I'd come. You can see Newton City from here after all, and it's great for thinking." I then looked once more at the scenery, squinted and nodded slowly. Chris said that she'd think about problems here often. Too bad you can't get up here. But that Hagan lips tightened. This word almost not like this. Sorry. 1 second, let me just see for we listen for the future how pronounce it correctly. Not sure if I can pronounce it correctly. Titan. It's pretty much like G and H don't really pronounce it, I guess. Titan. But if I pronounce it like Titan, it's also don't correct. Titan. Anyway. And after finally sitting down, she spoke. "We should have brought chairs." Aha, have tacky. It's more logical. It sounded a bit like she was just being petty, but it also sounded like she was serious. And since it's Hagana, I wouldn't put it past her to bring a ladder here. Just imagining that, I chuckled. But, as I was about to put some vegetables that fell out of my sandwich in my mouth, Hagana spoke. "It's a wonderful view." It was like she was praising me, so I was happy. But it was also embarrassing. The third floor of the church isn't bad either. So I said that, and Hagan turned around and answered. "The view here is totally different." Well, that was obvious. Plus, it reminds me of another view I know. Yeah? When I asked back, she was looking at the view with distant eyes. Her face didn't have the usual sharpness to it. But it also wasn't a peaceful one. Homesickness. When that word occurred to me, Hagan's eyes had returned to her sandwich. Anyway, I want to ask you something. What? I couldn't say that I had been taken in by her face, so I came to myself and replied hurriedly. "What is it?" "About the contest." Yeah. What is it?" "Were you going to ask a question?" And when I asked again, she didn't try to speak, and she kept looking at her sandwich. She even ignored my pressing, so I knew she was thinking about her question. About the prize money. But what she finally said was direct. "Yeah, you're really going to split it with Lisa." Asking her how we've already gone this far, in the end she came back to that. I answered while licking some mustard off my fingers. "If it's under 50,000 moles, everything, if it's 200,000 moles, then maybe half of that, of what's left after 50,000, I guess." "Really? You don't trust me that much?" I wasn't angry, but asked back, and Hagan looked away meekly, and then looked up at me meekly. Even if my program doesn't work." Hagan's black eyes were looking at me steadily. I couldn't laugh about her being a worrywart. Gun was practically making fun of herself, saying that her math would be useless in the real world. Well, if possible, I hope it'd be useful. But, well, Lisa did take me in after all. Um, Lisa did take me in after all. Um, Plus, if I managed to get into the ranks with prize money, headhunters would come. If anything, that was my goal. If I could leave the church on good terms, a few 100,000 moons was worth it. Plus, we still don't know for sure. Whatever you'd be of use or not. When I spoke, Agana was seriously looking at me, with an unexpected expression. But slowly lowering her eyes, she nodded. I want to be useful. Agana spoke clearly. Just once? When I spoke, Agana suddenly raised her head. And when she said that, I had on a smirk. Her brows furrowed almost audibly and glared at me. Aha, I'm joking. Shut up. Surprisingly, she came back with a childish retort, and my mood got even better. But anyone, not just Kagana, would have had it not being useful. I just looked at the white scene before us and spoke. Well, hopefully it will work out. Kagana had been nibbling quietly on her sandwich, but I felt her eyes look up. And she also looked at the view and nodded slowly. The world seemed to be enjoying itself peacefully. I hope that the people who cross paths with me could do the same. A short while before, I only thought about gambling, and thinking about this stuff was out of character. If I could get first in the contest, I'd get a prize of 200,000 moles, and also be headhunted by Schrodinger Street. Just thinking about that would make me uneasy with excitement. Honestly speaking, I was hoping that Hagana's program would be useful. However, I've never had luck with that kind of investing magic, and I didn't know its real value. I finished eating the last of my sandwich and laying back. A little bit later, there was the sound of steps on the rocks, and this appeared carrying lots of stuff. Mm, And they just completely skip. Uh, I kind of was interesting if they gonna talk with Chris and what Chris gonna thinking about Hagana and Haru. Especially since I remember last time when Chris seen them two, she actually has a misunderstanding. But anyway, I guess it's time skip. Hmm. Okay, let's continue for a little bit more. The next day, Hagana and I were lined up at the table. Her terminal was set next to mine, and that program Sterile made was open. Especially since I kind of interesting if her program gonna work. From what I had heard, it apparently took out the factors that would move a stock, converted them into variables, and would then pick out the ones that seemed to be able to predict that will happen to the stock. Apparently, the predicted price of stocks moved according to a normal distribution. So if just that exception, it was imitating that I was doing. The difference between me and the program was that it instantly picked several stock I'd perhaps be interested in out of 1,000 stocks, calculate out the future prices, and show them to me. Stock prices were always going up and down, and that movement range was called the volatility. On this, then the market made big moves. The price would move a lot, but on most days it moved around the same amount. The program would determine the volatility for the day from the index and would continuously display the predicted price. I'd look at the stock that Hagana program would pick out. I know that there are ones that looked useful. There were a bunch of usable ones. Uh, there was a bunch of usable ones, so I thought it was imitating my selection process pretty well. Well, let's give it a try. Yeah, Hagan seemed to be a bit nervous. The prices on the imaginary stock market had started moving at once. The stock that Hagan's program picked up apparently locked in, showed the price spreads for the day. The movement on the index, essentially the market's settlement, was supposed to be within that range 7 or out of 10 times. I was looking at our stocks too, but this one was the main one. Today the market was a bit sluggish and wasn't really moving. Apparently, reacting to this, the program tightened the price spreads. Seemed like it recalculated things every few minutes. How was it? Hagan asked. I hunched my shoulders and stared at the price. It was continuing to inch its way down. The buyers just weren't going in. My gut feeling was that it wasn't time to move. This price here was the bottom, was it? Yes. After adjustments, this price is one standard deviation away. I don't really understand, but apparently that's what it was. However, the settlement was something you'd get by looking at the movement of many stocks and showing any info that might seem relevant in your head. At the while chasing numbers until your eyes span and finally getting it at the end. Was this something math could encompass? I kept getting more suspicious. The reason was because before the market even opened, it showed the upper and lower bounds as if it knew what was going to happen today already. And the stock we're looking at, the bottom was supposed to be 700 of 32 moles, and it was at 738. It opened at 745 moles, so it was down exactly 1%. Dropping 1% was like a sneeze. Your nose could just be itchy, and it had nothing to do with having a cold. But there was a little information out there, so I couldn't tell. Open screens for our stocks, and found stocks where some people couldn't wait longer, or stocks that were moving strongly and tagged along. You should buy a stock when it started rising, and sell it at a point where it was probably too early. If you made a profit, then don't follow that the stock does afterward. If you lay your hand on it again, if it seemed to want to go higher, you'd most likely come out with a loss. And the famous scientist Isaac Newton made that textbook mistake and was ruined. It was towards the end of uh, uh, how pronounce year correctly? I know it's a really stupid question. Mm, mm, Sorry, a little googling. Mm, it just 1800s. So that was towards the end of 1800s. I knew that Hagana was getting jealous next to me, but I couldn't waste an entire morning on that one stock. Hmm. For an hour and a half, I was running up gains of uh, 0.7 or 0.5%. It wasn't a great performance, but since the market was weak, it was on the good side. Along the way, I had two 0.2% losses. Oh well. Suddenly, a tone sounded. Hal. Hagana called my name. When I looked, her finger was pointing at the terminal. Looking at it, I saw numbers in Hagana program, blinking. When I looked at the stock on my, it had dropped to 734 moves near the bottom limit. It's going down. I know. I was looking at the screen, and the order board didn't have any buy or sell price that were shouting here. I supposed to buy here. To be honest, I winced. There was nothing to go on, but Hagan's program. The volatility low, but the sigmas gone down to the bottom. As usual, I had no idea. But she was serious. Dressing her about. The lowest point was supposed to be 732. As usual, I put in the order for one step before at 733 moles. The stock hung a bit at 735 moles. Then there was a largest sell order and fell down to 734 and then to 733 quickly. Strange. Can program predict sell orders or if it's not important? I don't completely understand how it's all work. Anyway, my order executed and the stock stopped there for a moment. However, in this situation everyone would want to hold back and the margin sellers would be going to sell. Naturally, the sell orders came in all at once. Stocking up my entire 733 mole order, it ate through half of the 732 mole orders. Card I meant to cut losses. Right now it wouldn't hurt that much. Anna apparently realized that and grabbed my hand to stop me. No. What are you doing? It should get bought here. It's supposed to get bought here. She spoke while holding my head. Why? Based on what? It was human nature to hope that the problem you made would predict correctly. But reality is merciless, and the market was known for its wild and free movements, to a point where they said it didn't care about our owners. If praying was all that needed to win, then people like Lisa would be rich. The 732 moves buyers were cleared, and it was into 731 move territory. Already we were down 0.4%. I was on the edge of cutting losses. The sentiment was horrible. There was no reason to buy. Under 731 was the round number wall of 730 moves. Wasn't going by that. From the looks of things, and if it stopped falling there wasn't a reason it go up. But Hagan continued looking at the screen. Up, it's supposed to go up. A buy order came, and the 731 moves by orders might win. However, the stock didn't move up or down. Buy order would come in intermittently, and it stopped there. Sell, buy, sell, buy. They struggled, and the atmosphere changed. Seriously? Trading stopped. Go up. Exactly when Hagana whispered. What? A bunch of buys up to 730 moves came in. The sellers seemed to have a hiccup, and trading stopped. Buys still keep coming in. Now up to 734 moves. Sales came, however, it was like a water gun, and turned to steam next. 735, 736, 735, 736, 737, 738, 739. The trading was unstable, but I knew that a bunch of orders were waiting at 740 moves. Gains were at about 1%. If you wanted to take out profits, this was the place. I threw off Hagan's hand and put in an order. This time Hagana didn't stop me. At the end, we executed at 739 moves and made 0.9% profit. The stock hit 740 for a moment, and then it was pushed back by strong sell orders to 738 moves and stayed there, staggering. While looking at the movement, I couldn't help but feel stunned, like I had just seen an optical illusion. Did we profit? Hagan asked. I suppose. You suppose? When she asked again, I corrected myself. 0.9%. Hagan didn't seem to know whatever that was big or small, so she frowned a bit, but didn't seem upset. At least she nodded in satisfaction, having profited. But I just didn't understand. What did it base its judgment on? When I looked at Hagana, she looked back at me. Self-fulfilling prophecy. When Hagana spoke. What? The same as chart analysis. While I was calculating different graphs, I came to realize that were a bunch of people training the same way. While putting these big words together, Hagana looked directly into my eyes. In those black eyes, there was confidence. The range of price movements are extremely limited. They are much more systematic than what comes out of a random number generator. It's proof that the road's being paved by someone. Paved? Hagana frowned. However, after closing her eyes, she explained. The concepts used in statistics are the same for everyone. So if everyone wanted to calculate things, then everyone would come to similar prices. It's just the difference in how you weight the prices. When that happens, everyone would think that this price would be at the bottom around here. Our people calculating, would know too. That's why it be bought at 732, and when it bought, everyone would know that their calculations were correct, and would confidently buy. So it go up. Then the people who don't have as much confidence, they'd buy too. Get it? Just if I got it. But my head was about to explode. But I think I got the general idea. So, you're saying that everyone's predicting the same thing? Yes. Being told that clearly, I wanted to say that was crazy, but the price moved exactly as she had predicted. You could ignore how it dropped below 132 moves for an instant. More important was how the program automatically calculated that. But there's things I can't do. Like, Khan looked at me, then the screen. She looked down, maybe out of frustration. I don't know when to sell. And if I know the price range, I don't know when it would hold or go up. And if it goes up, there it would go. Khan looked up at me. You would know that, right? There was a pause. From the sentiment. Don't make fun of the sentiment. I'm not. It's true. Hagan snapped her eyes back. Hagan snapped her eyes back to the screen. But in her profile, I saw just the tiniest hint of friendliness. Oh well. You won the first battle. But what about the next? The list is here. Dealing with your terminal, the list of stocks came up again. Looking at the volume, the closing and the price movements up until now, I picked out 3. Looking at Hagana by my side, I sat here looking at those 3 names without expression. And then she looked at me. Go profit. That was all from the princess. But an extremely smart princess. Your wish is my command. And like at night, I rode off to the battlefield. On the screen the numbers stopped moving. It was 5 in the evening. In the end, we won so much it was silly. 90 wins to 2 losses. Those 2 were from when I traded something other than what Hagana program said. Essentially, a perfect record. We were up 70%. Hagana was training with me and had me too afraid to plow everything in. So we were up 1 and 2 million moves. If we had thrown in all the margin available for trading, we could have earned 4 million moves in total. This thing is amazing. Looking at the numbers glowing in the program on her terminal, I spoke. Training closed. I was uploading today's training data from the training contest site. It was downloading in real time and recalculating. It almost looked like a living thing feeding. The numbers would go up and down and keep changing one after another. It took a bunch of indicators and correlated them and calculated, and whenever one price changed, all the other price would change. And then all the prices changed. There was no end. This was the computers could do. No human could do this. We succeeded? Again asked. After that start, I learned how to use the program, and once again pulled up 10 stocks and checked their prices constantly. When the tone sounded, I traded furiously. Maybe she got sick along the way and stopped looking at the screen sorry, and stopped looking at the screen part way, but she didn't leave her seat. She apparently couldn't just leave the program she had devoted herself to creating. And then, that question from her. She looked so worried. I was tempted to tease her and say we didn't profit. Her eyes were normally sharp and her actions severe, so with a face like that, it was really tempting. But I somehow managed to resist the urge when I spoke. Huge success. It was then. Kagan's expression just melted. Thanks, goodness. And then that relieved smile. Thanks to how she was usually, this had a lot of power. It just blew past my limit. And while I was all blown away, I saw her wipe some tears from the corner of her eyes. Ah, stupid, don't cry. I blurted that out in confusion, and her softened face instantly hardened. I'm not crying, but an obvious lie. And just after saying that, she sniffed. Well, she wouldn't admit it if I pointed it out anyway. Plus, that didn't matter. Hagana was so relieved that it didn't matter. Next to me, Hagana was sniffing and wiping the corners of her eyes. I wish she'd think about how I felt having to pretend I didn't see that, but it was a bit cute how she tried to keep on appearances. Apparently what Lisa said was true, about how she didn't have a personality nearly as twisted as her mean-looking eyes would indicate. Thinking to myself, I looked at the screen to pass the time. What can be improved? Out of nowhere, Hagana asked, what? What's to improve? She probably wasn't asking about how to lie about not crying. Looking at her and then at the screen, I answered. A few of the price ranges were a bit loose. And there were a lot of stocks it picked that were misses. I can't pick them out when I trade, but I guess that's about it. Hagana's nose sounded a bit stuffed still, but her face had gone back to normal. She looked at her program and nodded. But well, it's amazing. Sitting up and then leaning back on the chair, I let out an admiring sigh. Without me noticing, someone had been putting up such a fight. Hagana was looking at me quietly. Then looking at the terminal, one more time she spoke. I'm relieved. I totally agreed with Food's careful words. Afterwards, Hagana was nodding off by dinner time. When she dropped a spring roll, Lisa took Hagana chopsticks away gently. Hagana resisted childishly for an instant, but quickly her eyelids dropped and she fell asleep. Really now. And how she said that, she seemed happy in a way. For now she got Hagana to stand up somehow, then picked her up with both arms. Since Hagana was slender, Lisa was able to hold Hagana completely in her arms. Lisa wobbled a bit, but managed to carry Hagana into her room. It took quite a while, so she probably changed Hagana's clothes too. Recently she'd been staying up all late into the night. Oh? You didn't notice? Nope. When I fall asleep, I don't wake up. Ah, how nice. I wake up quite easily. You probably don't exercise enough. When I said that, Lisa fell silent and glanced down. But she looked, and to preserve Lisa's good name, I pretended not to see. I wonder if it is exercise. No, wait, we are not talking about that. What? So, in the end, how was it? How was what? I mentioned the spring roll Hagana had dropped. Hagana's program thing. Ah, it was a huge success. Maybe we can aim for the top prize. I said as I was copying up rice. Hagana didn't really eat much, but she seemed to like Chinese food, and always wanted to make sure everyone got the same portions. If you're down for the count, I guess the rest was mine. When I reached out for some steamed dumplings, Aliza hit me. There won't be any for her tomorrow morning. Don't make that face. So a huge success? Really? Damn it. Yeah, it's true. Oh. Ah, and so the rush of relief. She spoke while looking towards Kagana's room. Then she turned to me and put her own dumplings on my plate. I didn't mean for you to give me yours. Always the stubborn one. Liz sighed and hunched her shoulders. But I see. That's good. Liz had a night of relief. Quite smile of her face. She stirred the smart bowl of soup by her hand with a piece of lotus root. I had a feeling that it wasn't because the program was working, it was making money. With my chopsticks still in my mouth, I started at Lisa's bit, but then suddenly raised her head. But then she suddenly raised her head. Holding chopsticks in your mouth isn't polite. Oh, shut up. Swearing, I moved some stir fry to my plate. While I was stirring up that well-seasoned dish, I knew Lisa was looking at me and smiling. But I wanted to pretend like I didn't see, and Lisa kept looking at me until I put my plate down on the table. Setting my plate down, I tried my very best to glare at Lisa. What? However, all Lisa did was tilt her hand slightly. Grown woman. It was embarrassing and frustrating, but even so, I didn't hate it. That really pissed me off. I just thought that, whoa, that were sort of things happen too. What? Good coincidence. With just that, I had a feeling I understood what she was saying. Well, no. You've done all that you possibly could after all. Being tone that struck to my face, it felt like I was being made fun of. Drinking the soup, I hid my mouth. Not particularly. Here. Liz laughed it and took a slow, deep breath. If you weren't around, that would have happened to us, I wonder. Not Kagana alone, or Lisa alone, but the two of them together. If I weren't around, what would have happened to them in the church? Sorry. There is... I guess so my neighbors decided to do something quite late in the evening. I'm not sure if you can hear it on stream or not. I mean, we're gonna end stream pretty soon. Anyway, so I guess it shouldn't be a problem. I tried imagining that would be. Sorry, I tried imagining that would be like, and could only come up with a wretched image. Haha, I'm probably imagining about the same. Just two girls together wouldn't feel very restrictive, but at times things get a bit too heavy. You're young enough to be a girl. When I muttered that, Lisa glared at me with a smile. Jeez. You're not like it, so I don't say. But really, I feel so thankful I almost don't even know what to say. There was that saying the books thing, but there was just nothing I could do about Hagana. I just couldn't find a serious way to answer Lisa's words. And you're saying it right now. Yeah, words are difficult things, aren't they? Lisa said cheerfully, and I could tell that she did it to brighten the mood for my sake. Lisa had really been in a dangerous situation. If she were the type of adult I hated, she would have found it more, or being stubborn and turned my suggestion down. But Liz just accepted weakly. I didn't even try to push things onto me. And I knew that I looked like a useless blockhead. She didn't even cut in much when I was dealing with Hagana. At home, in the fields, almost nothing could be done alone. Every day someone got help from someone. And that was natural. Where, where I saw over and over how grateful adults behave. There I learned to keep things to minimum, to not try to give ineffective help, and staying still was the hardest thing for those being helped. For those helping, I knew they felt more at ease that way. Hmm, interesting. Anyway, this was being a perfect example of that. However, I also knew that who received help also felt more at ease if someone were requested of them by way of thanks, especially if they felt thankful. That was why I hesitated. And after my hesitation subsided, I finally spoke. Are you going to do something for me in thanks? I tried to speak gruffly, but was so nervous I stuttered. It might have been partly why Lisa eyed popped at me. You let me? And she asked that back. It seemed like you'd hate it, so I've been holding back, but Lisa spoke while giving a bit of a trouble out. Modestly, self-control, discussing generosity. I gave Lisa a fertile glance and spoke. For example, eh, that's right. Like a feast or something. Aren't you broke? Ah, cooking is pure feeling. What about you then? Is there something that I can do? Don't hold back and let me know. Okay, I think he gonna ask her about laying on her lap. Saying that she straightened up. Like Hagana, her shapely bust clearly affected the shape of her clothes. In my head there was that press that had been spinning around. Just one press, but I didn't have the courage to speak out. Ah, when Lisa said that and put her hand to her mouth. Or maybe you want to take a bath together, or something. Well, what are you, stupid? I knew that my face was bright red, but it wasn't like I didn't have material moiety, so I blushed as strongly as I could. It was simply loudly, and when she rested her cheek on her hand, above on the table, she spoke somewhat happily. In 5 years, when you become a good man, I think about it. You'll be an old lady then. Smiling while angry, that was one of Liza's skills. But even so, Liza ultimately just burst out laughing. So, what do you really want? Just come out and say it. From across the table, I realized just how unbelievably childish I was. La, la, low. Yeah, it's clearly exactly what you wanted to ask. La pillow. I had no idea if I said it clearly. But Lisa became surprised, and then an unspeakably satisfied smile came onto her face. Then, with her cheek still resting on her hand, she politely ate a dumpling. Looking at the end of the long chopstick, she moved it in a circle. Should I do it? I wonder. I was so obviously on purpose. I almost died of shame. But finally Lisa gave a small nod. It was quiet from Hagana. When I said that, Lisa gently lowered her eyes. Of course, if boys didn't have secrets, they'd die, right? And then she even cleaned my ears with earpick. She said she'd do it one more time for 50,000 moons. I was scared that I might pay. Wait, didn't we have... For some reason I was sure we have the image for this. At least I believe I see something similar for this. Maybe I was wrong. Or maybe not the last time when they gonna do something like this. Okay, I know what I'm spoiling a little bit things for me, but it's just interesting. So I see some scene with Lisa and Hagana on her laps. But I guess I was wrong about Haru. Yeah, I guess I was wrong. But for some reason I was feeling what I seen with scene. Okay. Okay, I guess we're gonna stop here. We kinda reading already for quite a long. So anyway, it was interesting. So now we know what Kagana's program actually working. Because it will be really strange if they can just use this program and always profited from this. Like, it feels like it's gonna be too easy if they gonna just win by using this program. But who knows? And I guess anyway, there is this contest would be only in the first episode, so should be something in next two. So I guess this contest is important, but there should be some other stuff but going on, what we just don't know about. But yeah. Anyway, it was nice stream, a quite interesting one. I mean, to read this novel, I don't know if it was interesting to listening me to reading this stuff. I hope so. But yeah. Anyway, I have no idea which thumbnail choose for this thing, and also which title choose. So I gonna think about it after end of the stream. But I guess so for now. Next World and ECONOMiCA stream should be on Tuesday. But for now, goodbye. Have a nice time of the day.